Hello, good evening everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football channel where I'm going to do a video on basically reacting to my predictions for the 2019-2020 SPFL Premiership season and see how well I've done and how badly I've done as well. And also obviously I asked for people on Twitter to obviously give me their signing of the season as well. So I will go through that as well. And I'll just basically, sum up your season, basically. Just go through some notable results, some really good results, some really bad results. And yeah, should be good wee fun video. Obviously, for people obviously watching this for the first time, if you could give this a like, that would be absolutely fantastic as well. Obviously at 283 subscribers at this present moment in time. I would love to get to 300 by the end of the month. Not possible, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. So, the first team, obviously, I'm just going to do this in alphabetical order because I think it's probably better to do this in alphabetical order. So beginning with, obviously, the team that begins with A, and that is Aberdeen. So, my prediction, I predicted them to finish third. Where did they finish? They finished fourth. Now, you could say that it was between Motherwell and Aberdeen for that third and fourth place. Aberdeen, I mean, put it this way, I think it has been a very good season. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about obviously Derek McInnes. Yet you can kind of see that I think the fan base is definitely divided over Derek McInnes for sure. But to be honest, they've got Sam Cosgrove, a striker who's in absolute fantastic form. Obviously, before the season was obviously stopped due to the pandemic, and he's a very good player. Cosgrove scores goals for fun, and yeah, he was definitely the top scorer for Aberdeen this season. Notable results. Obviously, the results against the Old Firm weren't great this season. They obviously didn't win any games. Obviously, they were hammered 5-0 by Rangers at Ibrox. And obviously, they lost 4-0 to Celtic as well at home. They had a bit of a mixed record against the Edinburgh clubs. Obviously against Hibs, they lost at Easter Road. Against Hearts as well. Like obviously they beat Hearts 3-2 to begin the season as well. But home form, they've only won eight home games this season out of a possible 12. That's not good enough. You've got to make your home form a fortress, and unfortunately for Aberdeen, it was the same problems. So inconsistent at home, really inconsistent at home. But that's the thing you've got with Aberdeen. I think we have to look at the positives. That obviously they were in the Europa League, but obviously crashed out really early on. And they are obviously Scottish Cup semi-finalists as well. Whether that will get played or not is another matter. But obviously that's for another video for sure. But no, Aberdeen 4th place. So it's been very good. So I asked Aberdeen fans to get in touch with me on Twitter, and who has been your signing of the season? And there was a convincing winner in the end. So obviously I will go through the options. So we had Ash Taylor, we had Ryan Hedges, we had Funso Ojo, and then obviously I said other comments. So obviously I didn't get any comments from Aberdeen fans, but the clear front runner was Ash Taylor. Now, Ash Taylor was brought into Aberdeen, and he's had a very good season. He's really impressed in the Aberdeen side, and I think that's a very positive thing you could say. I think Aberdeen are going to have definitely a battle to keep some of their big stars. I think obviously Ash Taylor being one of them. I think Sam Cosgrove will be one that is definitely getting targeted this season as well. Niall McGinn as well. I think obviously Joe Lewis as well. Aberdeen have got a really good squad there, and I think that's one thing you could say about Aberdeen is that they've got some very good players. It's just whether or not they could actually keep the bulk of their squad through the start of, obviously, whenever the next season begins. But Aberdeen, 4th place, I think they'll be reasonably happy with that. But I think the disappointment is of obviously going out of the Europa League very, very early on. I think also obviously being Scottish Cup semi-finalists as well. Obviously that game against Celtic is still to be played and will be played at a future date, but whether or not that will be this season is another matter. Whether it will be this year is another matter. So that's another thing you could say about Aberdeen. But I have to say, from watching Aberdeen, obviously watching them with Livingston as well. They're a very good team, very, very good passing side. Derek McInnes has done a really reasonable job there. It's whether or not now that he thinks he's maybe taken the club as far as he can. And I think maybe that might be the possibility for him to potentially move on. But Derek McInnes, you've done a very good job at Aberdeen. 4th place, I think it's a good finish for Aberdeen. And I think they'll be very, very happy with that. So Aberdeen finished 4th in the table. Now, next up, Celtic. I predicted them first. They have finished first. Congratulations to Celtic, 9 in a row. Yes, obviously it was awarded to you, but having said that, you've been the best team again this season. Champions League, obviously that was a disappointment to go out to CFR Cluj, but obviously to get them in the Europa League as well. Going out to Copenhagen as well, that was very, very disappointing, especially the very good result they got away from home as well. That was very, very disappointing. But to the credit, Celtic have been very, very good. Obviously, Neil Lennon again. Obviously, he has led Celtic to the title. Notable results, I think probably the Old Firm results. Obviously, winning at Ibrox, which was very, very good. Obviously, they did lose to Rangers at Celtic Park, but then again, it's been a very, very good season for Celtic, and again, they've obviously brought in Fraser Forster to guard the goal, and he's been absolutely outstanding this season. So that's another thing you could say for Celtic. Obviously, they've got loads of good players in that team. Christopher Ayer has been linked with Leicester City. He's been linked with AC Milan. So it'll be interesting to see if Celtic could be able to get him on board to sort of maybe sign a new contract as well. Obviously, they've got Elyounoussi from Southampton. He'll probably go back to Southampton. Obviously, Odsonne Edouard. It'll be definitely a target this summer as well. So very, very interesting. But congratulations to Celtic. I think they've been absolutely fantastic. But yeah, obviously the only two teams to take points off Celtic this season were Livingston and Rangers. So that's another thing you could say for sure. Is a very, very good finish from Celtic. Now, obviously Celtic fans, I did ask for your signing of the season as well. So this one very, very divided, it has to be said. So the options were Christopher Jullien, Jeremy Frimpong, Fraser Forster, or other. And 18% went for Christopher Jullien, 23% went for Jeremy Frimpong, 9% went for other, and the biggest winner out of that lot was Fraser Forster. Now I have to say, Fraser Forster has been very, very good. Some of the saves he's made this season as well have been absolutely fantastic, and he's a big, big influence in that Celtic dressing room for sure. So he has been absolutely outstanding and probably up there for one of the goalkeepers of the season for sure. But yeah, he's obviously going to have competition with Alan McGregor, Vladka Hadladki. I think I've pronounced that right. Obviously, Ofio Marciano as well. So yeah. It'd be interesting to see if, obviously, whenever that Team of the Year comes out, who goes into the goalkeeper. But Fraser Forster has been absolutely outstanding. And it's been another fantastic season for Celtic. It's 13 points clear of Rangers. Obviously, the coronavirus pandemic has obviously ended the season. But it's been a very, very good season for Celtic, and definitely one for them to look back on. And yeah, it's 9 in a row. Could they make it 10 in a row? That would be very interesting to see. But I think the biggest thing for Celtic this season, I think, for them to look back on is Europe wasn't great. Obviously, they were League Cup winners against Rangers, and they are in a semi-final against Aberdeen as well. So that's one thing you could say for sure. So, but yeah, congratulations Celtic, and yeah, first place. So obviously I got that one spot on, but I think most people would have probably predicted Celtic to win the league, because obviously with them they've got the biggest budget in the league, so that's one thing you could say. But congratulations to Celtic. So obviously I've got that one right. So next team, Hamilton Academicals. I predicted you to be relegated. You finished 11th. So yet again you have survived by the skin of your teeth. Well, obviously it would have been, but 4 points ahead of Hearts. It has to be said, Hamilton do what Hamilton do best, and that is get results when they're least expected to. 1-0 at Ibrox. Remember that game? Rangers absolutely dominated that game, and then obviously Hamilton managed to win that game. But obviously, to be honest, obviously Brian Rice has done a good job there. Notable results, like I've said, the 1-0 win over Rangers at Ibrox as well. Obviously, they beat Kilmarnock as well. So yeah, they've had some very, very good results. Bad results, I mean, they have been hammered a couple of times this season. I mean, one thing you don't do is basically go 2-1 up against Livingston and then lose 4-2. That's one thing you can say. So the problem with Hamilton is that they concede far too many goals. But the one thing you could say for them for sure is that they do score goals as well. George Oakley's been a very, very good striker, a good piece of business by Hamilton, and I think he's been very, very good for sure. So that is one thing you could say for Hamilton. Now, Hamilton fans, I asked you to get in touch with your signing of the season. And again, this was very, very divided, it has to be said. So the options were Blair Alston, Luke Southwood, Brian Easton, and obviously other. So 19% said Blair Alston, 13% said Luke Southwood. Now, to me, Luke Southwood has been a very, very good goalkeeper for Hamilton. Obviously, Hamilton have had their goalkeeping issues this season. Obviously, Owen Fon-Williams started, and obviously, Gary Woods as well. He was obviously in there as well. But Luke Southwood came in from Reading and has actually done really, really well. Kept a few clean sheets as well. And obviously, he is playing in a really poor defence behind him. But he's been absolutely superb, has Luke Southwood. But the clear and obvious winner was Brian Easton. And I think people forget that Brian Easton was brought in by Brian Rice from St Johnstone. So, and he hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been very, very good this season. So, yeah, but obviously Hamilton, you guys have survived again, and it has to be said, very, very well done. But I think the one thing you'll have to do probably next season is, I think you'll probably be favourites for the drop again. But no matter how many times people say that you're favourites for the drop, you always seem to pull it off, and you managed to pull it off again. And yeah, look, Brian Rice has done a very good job, and as I said, obviously replacing Martin Canning as well, which was a big ask, but he's done a good job. So Hamilton, you stay up again, 11th place for you guys. Now, next team. This has been one of the disappointments of the season, it has to be said. Heart of Midlothian, I predicted you to be 5th. You have been relegated. But I say that in sort of brackets. Pending investigation or pending appeal to reconstruction. So, Hearts, where did it all go wrong? Well, I will tell you where it went all wrong. Anne Budge kept Craig Levein until bloomin' November, December. What were you thinking of? What were you thinking of? Honestly, that's one of the reasons that they've been relegated, is that they kept Craig Levein for far too long. Obviously, Daniel Stendel's come in. Yes, he's done a pretty good job, it has to be said. He has. But you have to say this now. Hearts fans probably were really just stick to the back teeth of the style of football that Craig Levein played. It wasn't pretty to watch. And 4 wins from 30 league games this season is just not good enough. It is really not good enough. Some of the signings they have made as well have been very poor. Obviously, they brought Joe Pereira in from Manchester United. He's looked really suspect as a goalkeeper. Colin Doyle as well. Obviously, he's played in goal for them as well. Zdeněk Šlamal as well. You see, that is big problems. However, there has been one shining light in that Hearts team. Okay, maybe not one, but maybe a couple I would say. Rio Machino, I think he's been very good since he's come in. Obviously came from Manchester City. He's been very good. But obviously I did ask Hearts fans for their signing of the season, and I have to say there's only one winner in this one. So the options were Craig Halkett, Liam Boyce, Rio Machino, and other. So 0% said Rio Machino, which I'm very surprised at, because he's actually had a very good time of it. And actually, he has been very good. 26% went for Liam Boyce. Obviously, Liam Boyce coming in from Burton Albion in January hasn't looked out of place as well. Other was 15%. But the biggest clear and affront away winner, Craig Halkett again. This guy is a very good defender. Obviously, he has had his injury problems as well, but he has finished top scorer again for his club. He was top scorer for Livingston in 2-3 seasons. Look at what he's done now. He's top scorer of Hearts in all competitions. Obviously, I think Stephen Naismith is the top scorer in the Premier League, in the Premiership, sorry, I should say. But Craig Halkett he's a danger at set pieces, and do you know what? He's come up with a couple of important goals as well. Obviously, we're getting the winning goal against Aberdeen in that quarter final in the League Cup, and it's been very good. But yeah, Hearts. It's not very nice. It's not very nice to be relegated, obviously, because of a pandemic. Nobody should be relegated due to that. However, I just think the way that Hearts have been this season, it's just been really poor. And like I said, Hearts have big problems now, because obviously Daniel Stendel has a clause in his contract saying that if Hearts get relegated, he's basically free to go. So you could be back at square one again for looking at a new manager. So that is one thing. But for me, Anne Budge has to take a big bunch of the flack here, is that she kept Craig Levein for far too long. Craig Levein, he has not been very good for Hearts. It has to be said. Obviously, he will be leaving at the end of the month, which I think every Hearts fan will be pretty pleased to see the back of. And maybe Hearts fans will be probably pleased to see the back of Anne Budge as well, because obviously I don't know if it's this season, but that the Foundation of Hearts will be taking over the club. But yeah, it's one of those things. But all I will say, Hearts fans, I think if you do get the green light for reconstruction, then obviously that's a shining light for you guys to improve for next season. But if you do go down, I do think, looking at the teams next season, there are some very tough teams to come out of that. It's a very tough league. Obviously, Livingston know all about that as well, but it's a very tough league to come out of. However, looking at some of those teams, you should really think about maybe going for the championship in that league. So I don't think you'll be down there for much long. I don't think you'll be down there for a long time either. I think you'll probably be one of those well, I wouldn't say yo-yo teams because obviously it's the second time in the club's history that they've been relegated. But I'm going to say this now that I think you'll be back up before you know it. I honestly do. I think you'll be back up before you know it. So, commiserations, Hearts fans, you have been relegated. Yeah, that was one that was very, very wrong indeed. So, there we go. So, next club, Hibernian. At the start of the season, I predicted you guys to be 4th. You guys were 7th. Very disappointing, it has to be said. Obviously, you were 6th for a long, long time. Obviously, you did start with Paul Heckingbottom as manager, and that just didn't work out, did it? Yeah, it just didn't work out in the end. Obviously, you are in the Scottish Cup semi-finals against Hearts, and again, that will be interesting to see when that is played. Inconsistency has been a big key for Hibs this season as well. You have to say, though, the main results for them is winning 2-0 at Tynecastle, which is very, very good. But losing to Hearts at Easter Road again, and that's one thing you'd have to say as well. So, yeah, Hibs fans, it's been a mixed season. A mixed season has to be said, but I have to say, from watching you guys, you've got a very, very good team now. You've got Scott Allen, you've got Martin Boyle, obviously you've got Ophir Mastriano. You've got very, very good, and then Christian Doidge as well. You've got a very, very good striker there. Mark McNulty, will he come back to Hibs for a third spell? That's another thing you could ask. So Hibs fans, I was asking you for your signing of the season, and I think there's probably a runaway winner here as well. Yeah, definitely. So the options were Christian Doidge, Scott Allen, Adam Jackson, or other. Well, other was 0%. Adam Jackson was 19%, Scott Allen 29%, but the biggest and far away runaway leader was Christian Doidge, 52%. Now, the interesting thing about Christian Doidge, he could not hit a barn door under Paul Heckingbottom. That is one thing you could say about him. He couldn't hit a barn door under Paul Heckingbottom. However, ever since Jack Ross came in, he has been on absolute fire this season. He's Hibs' top scorer. He has been very, very good this season. And you know what? It's a compliment to him that he's done a very, very good job. But yeah, it's disappointing to finish 7th because obviously, the team that obviously finished 6th has not been in the top 6 all season. So for you to be drafted down to 7th on average points per game is a bit disappointing. However, looking ahead, Hibs have got a very, very good squad. They just have to make sure that their home form is definitely one thing that will keep them in that top 6. But yeah, notable results. Obviously, the Rangers 6-1 defeats. That was a really, really sore one to take. But like I said, winning 2-0 at Tynecastle, which was very, very good as well. So, Hibs fans, let me know in the comments. Let me know how you think about how this season has gone. And I think, looking at it, I think Jack Ross is probably the right man for you guys now. Yeah, obviously there was a lot of confusion, obviously, when Paul Heckingbottom was sacked. And then obviously, that's one thing you can say. But Hibs, you have finished 7th. So, next, Kilmarnock. I predicted you guys to be 7th. You actually finished 8th. Now, I said in my predictions video earlier in the season that I actually think Kilmarnock would have struggled this season. It did prove to be correct because obviously Angelo Alessio paid the price for basically losing the dressing room. I think he argued with a couple of players as well. It wasn't a great season for Kilmarnock, it has to be said. However, Alex Dyer came in. He's obviously steadied the ship a little bit. It's been very, very good. Obviously, notable result, obviously beating Rangers again at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock just love playing Rangers at Rugby Park. And obviously, them, they've had some really, really intriguing results, it has to be said. But going to Livingston, losing 3-0, that was a bit of a disappointing result. Losing to Hamilton, Yeah, it's been a very very inconsistent season for Killy for sure. So I asked you for your signing of the season, Killy fans, and this is very interesting. This is a very interesting one. So obviously the options were Laurentio Branescu, the goalkeeper for Killy, Mohamed El Makrini, Alex Bruce, and other. So we have 14% other, 21% Mohamed El Makrini, 29% Laurentio Branescu, but the runaway leader was Alex Bruce with 36%. So not far away that one. So yeah, Alex Bruce, interesting. He's been a very good player. Good player for Kilmarnock, obviously. Obviously Steve Bruce's son, of course. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how if Kilmarnock can keep a hold of obviously Eamon Brophy. Eamon Brophy's been very good. Obviously Liam Miller was on loan from Liverpool. He was doing very well as well. So that's one thing you could say. That is one thing you could say. But Kilmarnock fans, let me know in the comments. Are you happy with 8th? I think it was a season where you'd probably be expected to probably do better, but under the circumstances, obviously with Steve Clark going, obviously Alessio coming in, and obviously him not surviving the season as well, and obviously Alex Dyer, he's obviously coming in and steadied the ship. Let me know what you think in the comments. So, Kilmarnock fans, you finished 8th. So next, my team, Livingston. I predicted us to finish 9th. How wrong I was. We finished 5th, the second highest finish in the club's history. Obviously finishing 3rd in the 2001-2002 season. Yeah, 5th place is absolutely deserved. Absolutely deserved. No doubt about it. We have been absolutely fantastic this season. Making our home a fortress again. Only, I think, let me think, teams that took points off us this season at home. Aberdeen, Rangers. So yeah, there's been definitely some highlights in there. It's just been a fabulous season again, and you know, everyone says that Livingston are one of those teams who are favourites to go down. They were the favourites to go down at the start of last season. They were the favourites to go down again this season. But then again, if you lose a spine of Liam Kelly, Craig Halkett, Declan Gallagher, Sean Byrne, and obviously Ryan Hardy, then you know that was struggling. But some of the signings we have made this season have been absolutely superb. John Guthrie at the back. Everyone was saying at Walsall he was very poor. Look at what he's done. Probably one of the defenders of the season as well. He's been absolutely outstanding. Marvin Bartley on a free from Hibs. That has been fantastic signing. Absolutely fantastic. Lyndon Dykes from Queen of the South as well. That's been very good as well. So it's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Notable result, obviously, there's only one I can think of, and that is Livingston beat Celtic for the first time ever in the club's history by 2-0 at the Tony Macaroni Arena. Goals from Scott Robinson and Lyndon Dykes. It was a fantastic win. But I wasn't there. I wasn't there, but some of the results we've had. Obviously 4-1 away to Ross County as well. 2-2 against Celtic as well. I was at that game. I was at the 2-2 game. But following Livingston at home this season, it's been fantastic. It really has. Everyone will say that obviously our away form is not the best, but if you think about it, some of the games we lost, we only lost by a narrow goal. Okay, the only game I can think of getting really hammered was Celtic. We lost 4-0 there, but it's been very good. Now, this poll really this was a very tricky one to go with. So I will give you my reaction to this. So other 0%. Marvin Bartley got 25%. John Guthrie got 29%, but the winner with 46% of the vote has Lyndon Dykes. Now, I have to say that all three of them players have been absolutely fantastic, so any one of them would deserve Player of the Year. Stevie Lawless has been absolutely fantastic as well. Lyndon Dykes, obviously 12 league goals this season, has been very, very good. He's obviously wanted by Rangers. Be interesting to see if Livingston could actually keep a hold of him. But that's one thing you could say for sure. But no, it's been a fantastic season. Fifth place, if you were asked fifth place before the start of the season, I would have bitten your hand off. It would have been that fantastic, that great season. Obviously finishing ninth last season, and obviously Gary Holt's done a fantastic job as well. So basically, just keep on doing what you're doing, Livingston, and we'll basically keep up that home form as well. Fantastic season, Livingston fifth, absolutely fantastic. So Motherwell, I predicted you to be sixth. You have finished third this season. Fantastic season for Motherwell. Stephen Robinson has done a fantastic job, and yeah, you're going on a European tour, which is very, very good. Yeah, look, I think some of the signings you've made as well. Sherwin Seedorf, Declan Gallagher, obviously Chris Long as well. Some very, very good players for sure in that Motherwell team. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see if you can actually keep a hold of them as well. But, I mean, Motherwell have been absolutely fantastic. I mean, obviously, notable results. Obviously, they beat Hibs, they beat Hearts. Old Firm, okay, they lost 7-1 at Ibrox. One season they've lost 5-2 to Celtic. So obviously they need to improve their record against Celtic and Rangers. But it was obviously between them and Aberdeen for third place. They've managed to come out on top, which is very, very good for Motherwell. I have to say they're a very good team to watch. Very, very good players. Obviously, Livingston beat them earlier in the season as well, the Tony Macaroni. So that's one thing you could say for sure. So it's been very, very good season for Motherwell. Now, the question is, who has been your signing of the season, Motherwell fans? I have to say there was this one. I think this was a runaway winner here. So the options were Declan Gallagher, Chris Long, Sherwin Seedorf, or other. So Chris Long had no % of the vote. I think that's a bit harsh. I think Chris Long has had a very, very good season. Other was 3%, Sherwin Seedorf 6%, but the runaway leader with this one, 91% of the vote went to Declan Gallagher. Declan Gallagher obviously coming in from Livingston. Hasn't put a foot wrong. He's looked really, really good. He's so solid he could either be a right back, he'd be a centre back. So solid, and obviously we all know about that from his Livingston days as well. He's been very, very good, and I think looking at it, I think Motherwell will definitely try and keep a hold of him for next season for sure. Obviously he was called up to the Scotland squad as well. He's been very, very good, and it's one thing to say for Motherwell. But looking ahead to next season, obviously you are in the Europa League. It'd be interesting to see how you can sort of balance that between obviously Europa League and obviously the league and obviously the cups as well. But then again, who knows what will happen this season? But Motherwell fans, I think you'll be very, very happy. Third place is yours. Very, very good indeed. So, Rangers, I predicted you to be second. You came second. Steven Gerrard, he's done a good job, but no trophies again for Stevie G. I think the Rangers fans will be desperate for a trophy next season. That's one thing you could say for sure. But they have looked pretty decent in Europe this season. That is one thing you could say about Stevie G's Rangers. They have looked really, really decent in Europe. Obviously, they were 3-1 down to Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, I don't know if that game's going to go ahead, but that's one thing you can say. But some astute signings, obviously, Joe Rebo has been very, very good. Philip Hollander has been excellent. Ianis Hadji, I know he's obviously not played much, but he's been very, very good. But looking at it, I think Rangers, the notable results for sure was definitely the 2-1 win at Celtic Park. But they have lost some really silly games this season. Losing to Hearts at Tynecastle, obviously I think they lost twice to Hearts at Tynecastle. Well, the results they've had some very very silly away defeats. Kilmarnock was the big one. I think was one of them. So you have to say Rangers very very good in the league, very inconsistent as well. But home form has been very very good. I think only Celtic have taken points. Oh no, sorry, Celtic and Hamilton have taken points off Rangers at Ibrox as well. So obviously, I asked Rangers fans to get in touch with me and on Twitter. This is a very interesting one as well. So 11% of the vote went to Joe Aribo. Other was 21%. Ryan Kent 26%. Philip Hollander came out on top 42%. So Philip Hollander, interesting. I think he's been good, Hollander. However, I would argue that I think maybe Aribo or maybe Kent have been very, very good. But Hollander's a very good defender. And I think once you see, obviously Katic as well, Hollander got injured and then Rangers' form kind of slipped a little bit. That's one thing you could say. I think Hollander has been very, very good at the back. And I think after he got injured, his form really did suffer a little bit. So, but Rangers, I think you'll be desperate for a trophy next season. That's one thing I'll say now. You'll definitely be desperate for a trophy this next season. So that is what I will say about you guys. So Ross County, I predicted you to be 10th. You are 10th. Decent. Absolutely decent. Obviously, you were in a relegation battle with obviously St Mirren, Hearts, Hamilton. However, having said that, you've had some good results. You have had some very, very good results. Obviously, I know the away form is not great. However, you have had some very, very good results. Obviously, at home, obviously you beat Livingston 2-0. You've obviously beat Hamilton 3-0. I think you beat Hibs as well. At home. That's the thing that has kept them in the league is their home form. Their home form has been very, very good. But obviously they have had a lot of batterings this season, it has to be said. But to be fair, obviously Stuart Kettlewell and Stephen Ferguson, obviously they're joint managers, which is very, very weird, I have to say. But it has to be said, Ross County, it's a decent season to basically survive pretty comfortably as well, has to be said. Because there was a time in I think it was August, September, where they did go on a really, really bad run of defeats, and they were looking above their shoulder a little bit. But that's one thing you could say for Ross County. So I asked Ross County fans to get in touch, and quite interestingly, this was one with really divided opinion as well. So Other got 6%, Joe Chalmers got 25%, Ross Laidlaw, who's been another potential goalkeeper of the season, he's been fantastic, Ross Laidlaw, and Blair Spittle, 38% of the vote. I think Ross Laidlaw probably deserves Ross County's Player of the Year. He's kept them in it. Obviously, they had Baxter as well and goal as well for Ross County. But look, Ross County, they'll be happy that they're still up as well. But that was the main objective, is to avoid relegation, and they've done that. They have done that. So congratulations, Ross County. Look forward to seeing you next season. St Johnstone, I predicted you to be 8th, and you finished 6th. So very, very well done. Despite the fact you were not in the top 6 any part of the season. But to be fair to St Johnstone, obviously Tommy Wright has now gone as manager, but he will still be the best manager in your club's history for sure. Obviously brought you home a trophy, the Scottish Cup. So not this season, obviously, but St Johnstone. Obviously battered by Celtic 7-0 on the first day of the season. They didn't win a game until the 26th of October. That was a 3-2 win over Hamilton. And you know what? Ever since then, their form has been very, very good. It has to be said. Their form has been very, very good, and it's a testament to Tommy Wright and what he's done at St Johnstone, and they've managed to keep themselves in the league. So and obviously keep themselves in the league. Obviously get top 6 as well. So very, very well done, Ross County. Very, very well done, St Johnstone. Very, very well done. So this was another poll that really divided opinion for sure. So St Johnstone. So we have a tie. So Wallace Duffy 13%. Other was 21%. Now Jamie McCart was mentioned in there, and he's had a good season. Now I would agree with that definitely, but there is a tie. It's between Stevie May and Anthony Ralston. Now, in my opinion, Stevie May couldn't he hit a barn door at Aberdeen, but my goodness me, he's really, really improved his goals when he's come back to St Johnstone. And to be honest, St Johnstone will be very, very good with him in the team. Obviously, they lost, what was his name? Docherty to... Kennedy to Aberdeen in January. And do you know what? Their form did suffer from that. But St Johnstone, 6th place in Tommy Wright's final season. I just think that's fantastic. And obviously, you've leapfrogged Hibs as well. But yeah, despite not being in the top 6 any part of this season, obviously the average points per game ratio has obviously got you into 6th. But congratulations to St Johnstone. And they've got a very, very good squad there. Very, very good squad there. So it'll be very interesting to see if any of their big guns will be thought after. Be interesting to see. So the final team to obviously look at is St Mirren. I predicted you guys to be 11th. You've finished 9th. And that is a very, very good finish for St Mirren fans. It has been very, very good, it has to be said. Obviously, Jim Goodwin came in and replaced Oran Kearney. And actually, to be honest, Jim Goodwin's done a very, very good job. Most notable victory probably against Aberdeen and Hearts at St Mirren, whatever they're called, 2021 Paisley Stadium. I think that's what it's called. They managed to get their home form, and that's what's kept them in this league. I think is their home form, and that is one thing you could say about it. But looking at that, their goalkeeper Haladki has been fantastic this season. Probably one of the goalkeepers of the season. Looking at St Mirren, obviously they've had some very, very good results along the way, and I think looking at it, I think Haladki will probably be on the way out. Ibika maybe might be on the way out. But if you can keep the bulk of your squad, add a few players into that, then St Mirren, you probably won't be in a relegation battle, but that's one thing you could say for St Mirren. So that's another thing you could say. So here's an interesting poll as well. So St Mirren fans, I asked you for your player of the season. So this is very interesting. So other 5%, Kyle McAllister and Ilkay Durmus on 14%, but the runaway leader was Jonathan Obika, 68%, and that has to be said. He has been very, very good. He's scored some very, very important goals. Obviously, he did score the goal that has relegated Hearts, because obviously that was the last goal that was scored by a St Mirren player. So that's one thing you could say for sure. He's been very, very good. He has been very, very good. So it'd be interesting to see if they could actually get him tied down to another contract. But yeah, it's been a very, very good season. Unfortunately, curtailed short, obviously due to the pandemic that's obviously wiped out millions of lives, and obviously it's stopped a lot of football. So, but yeah, it's been a very, very good season. Obviously, some teams have really performed, some have underperformed, some have really disappointed. It's been a very, very good season. There's been some very good goals scored, but my goodness, it's been clouded into controversy over this vote as well, and obviously reconstruction talks as well. Obviously, that seems to have fallen out the window as well. So, but obviously the table finished Celtic, Rangers, Motherwell, Aberdeen, Livingston, St Johnstone, Hibernian, Kilmarnock, St Mirren, Ross County, Hamilton and Hearts. So that concludes the SPFL Premiership 2019-2020 season. Looking back at those predictions, I got some right, I got some horribly wrong. Obviously Hearts finishing in the relegation zone. Don't think that would have happened had Craig Levein be given his marching orders a little bit earlier. Livingston obviously finished in 5th. I don't think anyone expected that, but it's been a very, very good season. And I've enjoyed giving you my predictions for the 2019-2020 SPFL Premiership season as well. But yeah, whenever this season will continue, obviously I will keep you updated with whenever that may happen. But yeah, I'll be back next season with predictions. You can bet your ass I will be back. So that is one thing you could say for sure. But thank you to all the Scottish Premiership fans who have obviously tuned in to my videos. It has been a pleasure. It has been an absolute pleasure to obviously do my SPFL predictions. So yeah, obviously guys, I'll be back with obviously SPFL predictions next season. Whenever that season will begin is another matter, but it has been an absolute joy. But obviously Celtic champions, Rangers obviously second, Hearts going down. Yeah, it remains to be seen what will happen for sure. But it has been an absolute pleasure. So thank you very much for watching throughout the season as well. Obviously curtailed till curtailed for the coronavirus pandemic. But it has to be said, it has been a fantastic season. And yeah, guys, obviously Scottish Premiership fans, if you do like my content, then please hit that subscribe button. Smash a like on this video, and yeah, I'll be back with more Premiership predictions in the meantime. But guys, stay safe, and yeah, we'll see what comes of this reconstruction plan and Budge has up her sleeve. So we will see what happens anyway. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for tuning in during the season, and I'll be back with more next season. Take care, everyone. Bye bye for now. Enjoy your summer.